You have just downloaded the Barbecue Central Show, which airs live every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Show is brought to you by Sucklebusters. You can find them at sucklebusters.com. Also by The Barbecue Guru, creators of automatic pit temperature control technology. They can be found at thebbqguru.com or call them 800-288-GURU. And by the Chops Power Injector System, the 2015 Barbecue Tool of the Year at the NBBQA. Find them at barbecuekansascity.com. And by Butcher Barbecue. From injections to rubs to sauces, always trust your butcher at butcherbbq.com. And by Big Papa Smokers, your one-stop online shop for everything and anything that has to do with barbecue. Their website is bigpapasmokers.com. And by Cook Shack Pellet and Electric Grills. Visit them at pelletcooker.com or cookshack.com or call them 800-423-0698. And by the Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour. 31 cities, $500,000 in cash to be won. Find out more at kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. And by Cookin' Pellets. You can buy Cookin' Pellets at cookinpellets.com. You can also visit amazon.com to purchase as well. And by Green Mountain Grills, some of the best pellet grills on the market today. You can visit them at greenmountaingrills.com. And by iGrill, the Bluetooth grilling thermometer that allows you to monitor temperatures from 150 feet away. Use promo code CENTRAL for 15% off your purchase at iDevicesinc.com.
Hey, this is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. Oh, yeah, it's the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. We broadcast and originate from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. If you want to jump in, more than happy to have you. How do you do it, you ask? Well, let me tell you. It's a phone call, 216-220-0966, and or it's an email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. Anything else you want to find out about the show, of course, can be found at the main website, the BBQ Guru. The what? The main? Okay. Anything else you want to find out about the show other than the contact information can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 13 minutes from now, of course, the third Tuesday of every month, brings multiple-time author, TV show host, cooking class instructor, overall good guy, and now a revered friend of this show, Steven Raichlen from Barbecue Bible, Project Smoke, a host of other stuff that's taken place in French Canada that I don't know anything about, but I've been told that he's huge up there. Steven Raichlen is the David Hasselhoff of French Canada when it comes to barbecue. Congratulations, Steven, and I'm saying that with peace and love. At 9:35, we will be rejoined by a show sponsor, a competition barbecue cook, and a creator of one of the most efficient and worthwhile barbecue accessories that you can get your hands on, especially, of course, if you're into this injecting thing. I mean, I don't think it's a phase anymore. This is pretty popular stuff, and it's going to be continuing on. And the thing that I hated about injecting when I first started doing it with the single injector, of course, is the fact that it takes kind of a long time. You pull the injection out, and you plunge it in, take it back out. It's got to be more efficient. Well, my next guest made it more efficient by like 10,000 times. Now I can inject 4 or 5 butts in the time that it has taken me to do one. We will rejoin a conversation with Dan Uladol from BarbecueKansasCity.com, the Chops Power Injector System creator. Oh, wow, what a first hour. Then we'll move to the second hour, and we will have what is typically slotted for the fourth Tuesday of the month. But because the Jack Daniels Invitational World Championship, Invitational Barbecue Championship is going to be taking place this coming weekend, there's a very good chance that with guests already slated and with potential do-wellers in the Jack Daniels competition the impending weekend, that we might not get in the normal fourth Tuesday of the month, as I'm kind of trying to get it branded. The monthly barbecue roundtable, that will take place at 10:14 tonight. Yeah. We do have a star-studded barbecue roundtable to include, dare I say, Chad Warner, Bill Minahan, and a frequent contributor, kind of monthly guest on this show, famed food blogger and sexy hot mama, Robin Lindar is the grill girl joining us on the show. Of course, the theme of the barbecue roundtable is you have a take about the barbecue or grilling world, or the barbecue and grilling world, whatever you like. And it doesn't have to be about competition. Trust me, when you hear my take tonight, it's going to blow your socks off. You're going to be like, what? That has nothing to do. I mean, it can. I would prefer it, but something happened to me over the weekend that I cannot let go. It needs to be out there and consumed in the general public, the population, the general gen pop, as they call it, when I spent time, when I did a stretch in the clink. I don't want to talk about it. But it doesn't have to, if you want to be on a future barbecue round table, it doesn't have to be about competition. If you got some advice or just something you want to bitch about, whatever. That's what that time is for. So that's who's going to be on the panel this coming 10:14 tonight, this evening. Then helping me close the show out. Oh, who's excited about this more than me? Nobody, probably. To date, the only barbecue editor in the country working for a magazine. He happens to work for Texas Monthly. Daniel Vaughn of Texas Monthly Barbecue joins us, tmbbq.com. Got a lot to talk about when it comes to the barbecue and grilling stuff with Daniel, so very excited to talk to him. So there you go. All right, right now, blast out some emails, some Facebook posts, get on the Twitter, whatever it is you do for the social media stuff. Let everybody know the show's on. A couple different links to send them to. You can send them to the main website, of course, thebbqcentralshow.com. Click on the Listen Live link right there, and, man, you are off and running. You have it available live and lake breaking audio. If you want the video side, go to our longtime audio syndication partner of this show, and that is OutdoorCookingChannel.com. And if you have, like, the Roku or the Internet Protocol television, as they call it, go to the App Store there, download, or search Outdoor Cooking Channel. And if they have it there, oh, friends, you're in luck. Download it immediately. Holy moly, you've hit the jackpot. Now you can watch the show from a high-definition television right from your couch. You don't have to go down to the basement and in the computer or a laptop and hike it up to your bedroom and hide in a corner, or however you're watching it right now. Whatever. Forget it. You can watch it right from your television. Get your wife involved. It's going to be great. Maybe not. Subscriptions to iTunes for audible replays of the show is very popular. You can just open up iTunes and search Barbecue Central Show, and there you go. Here's a quick note before we get out in the next couple minutes. I don't know how many of you are movie folks, let's say it in that way. But if you didn't know, tomorrow is October 21st, 2015. Wednesday, October 21st, 2015, to be specific. Now, as anyone that's my age or a little younger or a little older might know it as, the exact date Doc Brown put it in the time machine that Marty McFly flew into the future with. That's tomorrow. Some really good videos out there on YouTube and around the Facebooks on this. It's funny to see how much it is completely inaccurate. Although I have to admit, looking 30 years into the future from 30 years back, who wouldn't have thought that we wouldn't be flying around in the sky, having self-adjusting and self-drying clothes, riding around on floating skateboards? Damn. I thought we were really exploding on this technology stuff. We're behind. We are really behind the technology here in the America of the U.S. Who didn't think we were going to be flying around right now? Can you think about it? Think to 30 years ago when I was 11 years old. There's no reason for me to believe that 30 years from then, cars would have been laughed at. Remember when we drove cars, Ma? Hee hee. Let's get in the old car jet thingy and drive or fly. I mean, everybody would be flying everywhere. So much more room in the air. On the ground, it gets very congested. People are angry. It's a lot safer to get in the air. We wouldn't need all of these planes flying. You just fly wherever the hell you want. We can't even hardly get a compressed natural gas infrastructure going on in this country, for crying out loud. Where are we? Here we are. Here we are. Holy moly. Come on, man. Come on, son. All right. October 21st, 2015, Wednesday, is the date of Into the Future. All right, folks, I'm talking to you quickly about Suckle-Busters, an award-winning barbecue rub, sauce, chili kits, Texas gunpowder, preferred by competition barbecue cooks, Texas-based, 100% made in the USA. Products have won hundreds of industry awards, including 2 first place at the American Royal Sauce Contest. That's the World Series of Barbecue. What do we have new right here? Oh, it's Suckle-Busters Honey Barbecue Glaze and Finishing Sauce. Yeah! Yeah! I would love it! Based on Suckle-Busters' award-winning honey barbecue sauce, this is the thin glaze and finishing sauce made especially for competition ribs and chicken. Super sweet, not spicy, super red though. They use a special American paprika for a bright red color. Brush it on the last 5 to 10 minutes of cooking. It leaves a glossy red sheen on the meat and, most importantly, an extra layer of sweet flavor. Oof. Take your competition ribs and chicken to a whole nother level of the game. Where are they available at? Glad you asked. Local barbecue stores, of course, online at sucklebusters.com. Send Dan and the folks at Suckle-Busters an email with your inquiry. Sales at sucklebusters.com. Give them a call, 972-393-9509. Again, that's 972-393-9509. Sales at sucklebusters.com. Sucklebusters.com is the website. And if you send me an email right now with the words Jack Daniels 2015, you can win a free bottle of Suckle-Busters Honey Barbecue Glaze and Finishing Sauce. That's right. Send me an email, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. And in the subject line, put Jack Daniels 2015. Oof. Doesn't get any better than that. You will get a free bottle of Suckle-Busters award-winning barbecue glaze and finishing sauce. And it's not just doing well in the Texas area. No. It's going all over the place. Different sanctioning bodies, all sorts of teams using it. Oh, I've tried it. Let me tell you something. It's pretty fabulous. Well, looky here. We got a winner already before we get out for the break. We got a winner. Jonathan Calhoun wins. Jonathan, let me punch in your email here. All right, go ahead and shoot me your shipping address, Jonathan. Congratulations to you for winning it. Hope you enjoy it. We're going to step away and come back with a interview and conversation with Steven Raichlen. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. You want to email the show? More than happy to have you there as well. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. This portion of the show being brought to you by CookingPellets.com, your number one source for wood pellets to fire up those pellet cookers. You can go ahead and visit them in two different places to purchase. CookingPellets.com, COOKIN, CookingPellets.com. You can also visit a little website called Amazon. I think that's going to catch on. Amazon.com. You can buy cooking pellets there as well.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio.
Outdoor cooking. Also, when it doesn't come to outdoor cooking, TV show host, cooking class instructor, and third Tuesday of the month guest here on this show. We go ahead and race over the hotline and welcome in Steven Raichlen. Steven, how are you, buddy?
Great. How about you, Greg?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Stephen. Always appreciate the time to give the show. And a couple good things to get into this evening. You know, when we talked last month leading into this particular segment, we ended with a little bit of a lead up or a hype up to the American Royal 2015 this year. That has since come and gone. So you've had a couple weeks away from it. And I wonder, as somebody who isn't going there to necessarily cook in the Invitational or the Open side, and we've had a massive recount on this show with all those guys that won out there, as a spectator and, most importantly, is going into the 2015 Hall of Fame, I'm interested to get your thoughts on the whole situation out there. You know, they moved from storied location in Stockyards out to Arrowhead Stadium, and there was a lot of lead-up controversy to that, but all things seem to be going well. So, you know, from a logistics sense, and when did you get there, and how long did you stay, just like the whole American Royal recap from your point of view?
Well, the American Royal weekend was fantastic. My time there was limited, unfortunately, but I did, courtesy of the VIP treatment they gave me, including a golf cart and a driver, managed to see the entire thing, visit with a lot of teams, both in the professional and the amateur section. And I got to tell you, I think this move out to the stadium is fantastic. There is so much space. This year they had 618, count them, 618 teams. That number's only going to grow. This is a broad, wide open space, easily accessible. You know, obviously there were a few growing pains in the logistics this year. But I think it is a great move for Kansas City, and it is a great move for barbecue.
When you're going around the particular locations, see all the teams get ready, what kind of a reception do you get? I mean, does everybody know you? Do like a handful of people kind of stop you, and then other people go, hey, that guy kind of looks familiar. I'm just kind of interested in you know, how you trend over from, you know, team to team.
Well, you know, like I told my wife on the phone, these are my people. And and particularly with the Hall of Fame award this year, I was very warmly received everywhere I went, you know, lots of high Steves. I mean, I get that at airports, and I have more and more since Project Smoke started airing this summer. But this is the epicenter of my constituency.
All right, Stephen. So in regards to the Hall of Fame situation itself, who kind of talked you in, and when you had time to go ahead and address the audience and the rest of the Hall of Famers, you don't have to recount the whole speech, of course, but you know some of the things that you hit on during, in the acceptance.
Well, I mean, first of all, it was an enormous honor, and I'm extremely proud. And actually, they offered it to me last year, but the induction ceremony fell over Yom Kippur, which is the holiest holiday in the Jewish calendar last year, so I could not go to Kansas City for that. But this year, I went. My co-inductees were Ed Fisher, founder of Big Green Egg, and Paul Kirk, the great Kansas City barbecue master. So I was in great company. I kept sort of pinching myself because I thought, you go through life. I have a degree in French literature. I mean, I figured I'd be a college professor. And the odd turn, this was an award that I never, ever, ever in my wildest dreams thought I would get. And then, but here it is, however many years later, and it was, it was such a deep, touching, and honoring acknowledgement of the work I've done in barbecue. Awesome, moving experience. So, my whole thing in life is the more you give, the more you get. It's that old Beatles line, and in the end, the love, the love you get is equal to the love you give, or something like that. The love you make is equal to the love you take, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, that means you just give as much as you can. So in my acceptance speech, I kind of, I talked a little bit about what an unlikely recipient I was, because unlike most people at the Royal, I did not grow up in the barbecue tradition. There were no smokers. I didn't even know what real barbecue was until I was in my 20s. So in my speech, I talked about 10 things I've learned in my 20 years in barbecue. And that acceptance speech is actually up on my website, barbecuebible.com. But so I talked about, sort of one thing I learned is how ancient barbecue was and how important it was in the development of both the human species and human culture. I talked about how barbecue is some of the last truly local food that we have. And in an age where there's a Starbucks on virtually every street corner, fast food has proliferated like crazy. And even the high-end chefs like the Thomas Kellers and the Mario Batalis, have empires with restaurants all over the world. Barbecue really is some of the last truly local food that we have, and I think that's really important. Even in a place like Kansas City, where all four of what are considered the big, the big foods, ribs, brisket, pork shoulder, and chicken, I mean, they're all part of Kansas City barbecue. So I thought it was very appropriate to accept the award there. I talked about kind of what barbecue means around the world and what foods constitute barbecue in other cultures, highlighting sheep's intestines in Uruguay, chicken blood in the Philippines, and nori seaweed in Korea. I would have mentioned one of Japan's national dishes, grilled bean curd, but with miso barbecue sauce. But with that crowd, I didn't dare quite utter the word tofu. I talked about how barbecue is teamwork, and I gave a big nod to my wife, who certainly everything good that's happened in my career has happened thanks to my wife. I talked about, and I think this is a really important message, nobody eats barbecue alone. It's really all about community, sharing the food, sharing the love. And then I did get on my soapbox and sort of try and leave people with a message for what I think is important for the future. And for me, that is a close, hard look at the quality of the ingredients, trying to go for grass-fed beef, for heritage pork, for organic chicken, for organic produce, and really being aware of some of the monstrosities that happen in the way that food is mass-produced in this country. And 20 years ago, you talked to pit masters, it was all about the pit and techniques. Well, the new generation really cares about how the food is raised. For me, the soundbite is, how your food is raised matters as much as how you smoke it. And I was really gratified to get a big round of applause for that. So I think that things are changing.
Stephen, before we move on with a little bit more insight into the Hall of Fame ceremony, you touched on something I want to ask you about. You know, it seems that, as you said before, it was, you know, how you cook it. Now it's let's go ahead and put a focus on how it's raised and how it's fed and all the good stuff that you're talking about. But inevitably in business and in finding people that distribute, they want to take advantage of people. So I think it's important that if people want to make that change or really kind of live by what you're talking about, that they're able to source people that are legitimate. So do you have any suggestions on how to kind of weed through the pretenders and the fakers, the people just looking to make a buck, and find the real people that are kind of living by what you're talking about?
Well, super great question. So on the local level, I mean, in general, if you shop at farmers markets, you got a much better crack at getting something pure and wholesome, and you're also supporting your local farmers and cattlemen. On the national level, you know, because let's face it, I mean, we all, you know, the supermarket is a part of most of our lives. I think Whole Foods does a really good job of providing organic food, of looking for humanely raised animals. I shop there often. I look for the words organic. Another point that I make that runs very counter to the way most Americans think is I'm very much a seasonal guy, and I am happy not to eat salmon for 9 months a year if I can get local wild salmon for 3 months a year. Ditto for vegetables that are out of season. I love seasonality, and I love scarcity. I don't, you know, I think as a nation we've come to expect everything we want any time we want it, whether it has to be air freighted in from, you know, from Argentina, or whether it has to be raised on some disgusting fish farm in Chile. I don't mean to say all the fish farms in Chile are disgusting, but you know, this notion that food is seasonal and that there are things we can look forward to. I mean, that's really important to me.
Stephen Reichl joining us here on the show, barbecuebible.com and projectsmoke.org, some websites to check them out. Go ahead and finish that thought, Steve.
The other thing I just wanted to say is that we cannot trust agribusiness and the industrial food complex to do the right thing, but because they have a conscience. It's only when we demand better ingredients, when we demand more humanely raised ingredients, that we will get it. And you know, for your listeners, and I know I'm probably on a soapbox that many people in the barbecue world don't care about, but you know, watch a film like Food Inc., you know, and that'll really open your eyes about kind of where a lot of our food comes from.
Stephen, a couple other of the Hall of Fame inductees that you mentioned. One was Paul Kirk, who is obviously in the lore of competition barbecue and maybe a little bit of book writing, certainly well-deserved to be in there. And Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue, a couple weeks ago kind of talked about him a little bit. But another guy that I wanted to ask you about, and I don't know how much you know about him, but as far as being into the Hall of Fame and people who deserve, and who's to say who deserves, I guess, but when I look at a business guy, when I look at Ed Fisher of Big Green Egg, here's a guy who has been wildly successful with this particular brand of cooker. It's a ceramic cooker that had come over from the Orient that he had found back in the military and decided, hey, what a great cooker. I'm going to bring it over here. And boom, it's wildly erupted and very popular. And I think to a point he has turned his particular brand into the Kleenex, if you will, of ceramic-style cookers. You say Kleenex, but it's really facial tissue. You say Big Green Egg. Everybody thinks of, you know, all kinds of different ceramic cookers. So on that end, I think it's an absolute wild success. In your eyes, you're a businessman, and you like to succeed in markets that you're in. What does Ed Fisher and I guess the Big Green Egg mean to you?
Well, first of all, I'm glad you used the words wildly successful and not overnight success. What I admire the most in a guy like Ed Fisher is his tenacity, his perseverance, his belief in his product. Because believe me, if egg is all anybody talks about now, the Big Green Egg, I guarantee you there were 20 or 30 years of his business when almost nobody bought eggs or knew what they were. But he believed, he persevered. And it's, you know, I guarantee you almost any overnight success took a lot of struggle, a lot of belief, a lot of years when nothing happened.
And this is a product that I don't know if you own any, but you certainly are very used to using. Right?
I own many eggs. I use them. It's a fantastic product. And I think the egg has actually been very responsible for bringing what I would call a lot of mainstream grillers into the world of barbecue and smoking.
What I like about the egg here, and certainly this isn't a planned love fest for Big Green Egg, but when people are asking me what kind of a pit or what kind of a grill should I look at, certainly we discuss, you know, some of the major factors when I'm counseling somebody, which is, you know, how big is your family? What are the situations that you might grill up to people-wise? You know, I cook, for me, you know, it's like I cook for 5 usually, but I can gust up to 25 to 50 people depending. So, you know, take that into account. But the other thing is budget. And if the budget's right, or if we're trending and I can push somebody up, I always recommend Big Green Egg because, to me, I call it the hybrid cooker, 2 cookers in one. You have the low and slow capabilities, which you're obviously very familiar with, but then you also have the super high heat ability to do steaks. So if you can, you know, muster the savings book, go ahead and buy one of those. And as I say, buy the best and only cry once, right?
You know, Greg, I couldn't agree with you more. I always recommend to people to buy more grill than you think you need so you can grow into it.
Stephen Reichlin joining us here on the show. ProjectSmoke.org is the television show, and BarbecueBible.com, obviously, his normal haunt, if you want to check him out here while we're talking. Let's transition a little bit, Stephen, with the time we have left. We are well into October, really going into November very quickly here over the next week or so. Again, we pull back from what you said recently in the show here as far as seasonality. Of course, I never want to have you on to not ask you about what you're cooking or what you into. And I saw a blog post of yours recently that said 2 of my favorite things, apple and crisp. And, of course, when it's Stephen Reichlin, you know it's going outside.
Yeah, absolutely. There is something about wood smoke that will take a dessert, and especially a fruit dessert, and it will, you know, it's a little bit like smoke. I call wood smoke the umami of barbecue, and umami is that 5th taste that has the ability to make things, that sort of makes things like you're tasting them in Technicolor. And when you add a whiff of wood smoke to an apple crisp, and my latest iteration, the one we do on Project Smoke, also involves bacon and bourbon. It's just you're taking a commonplace dessert and you're making it absolutely extraordinary, otherworldly, and this is what wood smoke does.
All right, so talk to me about the recipe itself. If people want to give it a try here over this coming weekend, things that they're going to need, and a little bit of the high level stuff.
Cast iron skillet in which you brown the bacon. Don't pour off too much of the bacon fat. The filling, it's a standard, apple, a little bit of flour for thickener, a little brown sugar for sweetness, grated lemon zest, super important. I fold the bacon back in. I fold the bourbon back in. The top is your basic crisp, which I started doing because I like crisps, and also I'm too lazy to make pie dough for apple pie. Ginger snap cookies or graham cracker crumbs or shortbread crumbs, flour, brown sugar, butter, cut in using your food processor or 2 knives. That goes on top. Indirect grilling, handful of apple wood. It's just incredible. By the way, you asked me about what I'm grilling, and this is a segue away from apples, but I just got to tell you about something I made last night.
Yeah.
So we got some nice wild coho salmon. And I thought I would plank it last night with a miso barbecue sauce. And but what I did is, the common lure is you soak the cedar plank, and that way it releases all the cedar steam. But what I did is I charred the cedar plank, turned it over so the fish went on the charred plank to kind of get some intrinsic smoke. And then instead of indirect grilling it, I direct. And if you go up on my Facebook page, Stephen Reichlin, you will see this plank. The edges are flaming. The whole thing is flaming. It is so dramatic. It is so spectacular. And I got to tell you, it's the best plank salmon I ever made in my life.
I was going to say, I have a guy on my show fairly regularly, somebody I'm sure you're familiar with, a fellow author of The Grill, and up in Canada, Ted Reeder, who is widely considered to be, the master planker. And
Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard him say that he has gone out of his way to not soak a plank before. And inherently, as you said, I mean, this is a dry piece of wood, and you throw it on direct, and you potentially have a fire on your hands. But all in all, the flavor's good. And were there any like special tips on, cooking with it so you don't go from really good to horrible very quick?
Well, one is don't turn your back on it because when it starts to catch fire, that'll go pretty quickly. Second is when you take it off. I mean, I actually served it to my wife flaming, and it was so dramatic. But you want to put it on a cast iron platter because that plank, if you direct grill it, it will be hot, burning, charred underside. And if you put it on a ceramic platter, you would crack it, or if you put it on a wood platter, well, you could just get more fire.
Stephen Reichlin joins us here on the show as he does the third Tuesday of every month. Some websites, again, projectsmoke.org and barbecuebible.com. Stephen, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much for coming on. We'll talk to you again in November.
Thank you very much, Greg. You do such a great show. Can't wait to come back. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. There he is, Stephen Reichlin, ladies and gentlemen. Always love to talk with Stephen when we have the chance. Third Tuesday of every month guest. And, yeah, so we'll do it like that again in November. Thanks to Stephen. All right. Always enjoy chatting it up with Mr. Reichlin. Firing the old cedar planks, as it were. Forget soaking them. Put them right on the damn fire. We're going crazy. Well-deserved Hall of Fame induction. Now, look, folks, Big Papa Smokers is the one-stop online shop for anyone interested in barbecue and is the #1 dealer of Mac pellet grills in the world. Big Papa Smokers features a wide selection of American-made grills and smokers, such as the Old Hickory Ace BP, the Gateway Drum Smokers, even a drum kit that gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Papa Smokers has also made a name for itself in recent years by crafting an award-winning line of championship rubs. From flavors like Sweet Money to Happy Ending, their rubs have had a hand in winning almost every major barbecue competition, including the 12 and 13 Jack Daniels, the American Royal, the Kingsford Challenges, the Houston Livestock and Rodeos, the 2014 King of the Smoker. I mean, you name it, it's pretty much had a hand in winning something. I don't think that BPS can be pigeonholed into competitive barbecue either. BPS rubs have become so well known that they have been picked up by a nationwide restaurant chain. BJ's Restaurant and Brewhouse, with 4 of the 9 BPS rubs featured on the permanent menu. And amid glowing reviews, BPS rubs are proven to be a great addition to anyone's pantry. Big Papa's has also banded together with fellow California-based rub company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these two California-based rub makers have cornered the market on competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profiles that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. Big Papa's website also features an online meat locker with top-quality meats from Snake River Farms shipped right to your front door. From American Kobe beef, Caribou to pork, Double R ranch meats, Big Papa's meat locker has something for everyone. That is the barbecue aficionado. Committed to bringing you the best flavors. That's why they're giving you Swamp Boy sauce, a fine swine sauce, Granny's barbecue sauce, just to name a few. Big Papa's also created a unique brand ambassador program called the BPS Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind that Big Papa Smokers has been able to do all this with only 5 years of being in the business, soon to be 6, turning the competition barbecue world on its head, providing customers with the very best barbecue products out there, and becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain, benefiting children's charities across the U.S. as well. It's just the beginning, folks. That's right, just the beginning. BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com. Dan Uladol coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, thanks for joining me. This portion of the show is being brought to you by iGrill, makers of the most advanced Bluetooth grilling thermometers out there. Monitor your stuff from up to 150 feet away using your Apple or Android device. This month, receive 15% off the iGrill Pitmaster set with code CENTRAL. You get an iGrill 2, a Pro Ambient Temperature Pro, Pro Meat Probe, and barbecue sauce by award-winning Smokin' Hogs barbecue team. Wow, it's the ultimate Pitmaster's dream. Shop at iDevicesInc.com. By the way, I meant to wear this last week, but this is finally, the Ben's Avengers T-shirt is on. Here we go. It's a little pink. I understand that, but the story that goes along with me trying to get this shirt is long, to say the least. However, I digress from that. Joining me now is a competition barbecue cook. Yes. And makes a hugely efficient product out there for anybody that likes injecting. Sponsor of this show, we race to the hotline and welcome Dan Uladal to the show. Dan, how are you, buddy?
Well, hello. I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm absolutely fabulous, Dan. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight. And, I guess before we get started, for the folks that didn't hear our first interview or haven't really traipsed back through some of the backlog of shows recently, a little background about you and your competition chops, no pun intended, and then I guess we can talk a little bit more about the unit itself.
Well, about me, let's see here. I have been competing for 4 years now, probably right around 20 contests total. Finished top 10 in one of them. I've got a couple of Reserve Grand Championships under my belt. Mainly here in the Midwest, around Kansas City, within about 200 miles. That's kind of my competition circle for now. As I hone in on getting my chops up, if you want to keep going with the puns.
You're a Kansas City-based guy, though, right?
Yeah, I am. I am born and raised, born and bred right here in downtown Kansas City. I work for the city. I'm a police officer here. So I've got, Kansas City running through and through. So it's hard to, with my schedule, with my job, it's hard to go out every weekend like a lot of people with regular 9-to-5 jobs, things like that. But I do the best I can to try to get out there and hit it as hard as I can when I do get out. And I do cook a lot and tinker a lot. I've built my own, my main smoker. I built it. My trailer, I built it, just with ideas in my head. And the same thing with the injector. It was a idea I had after our first season. We were injecting with a single needle. We went to contests and we injected. We spilt the injection all over the table. We had injectors break right when we needed them. And it was what happens is when you start cooking competition barbecue and you win a couple of awards, you share it with your friends and family. And today's day and age with social media, you have a lot more friends and family that you can immediately talk to. They wanted food. So I started catering. Catering gigs turned into weddings. Weddings, 100, 200 people. And I wanted my stuff to taste the same as it would if I was trying to win an award with it. So I wanted to inject. Well, after the first 100-person wedding, my arm hurt, my hand hurt, so I went up to the garage and I started researching different ways to make a more powerful injector, something that would work faster. And the closest I've gotten to now is $3,000-$4,000 injectors that they use in big meat shops. Well, I can't afford that, and not really any other guy that's doing a 200-person wedding every month or something like that. So I started tinkering, and I came up with Chops Fire Injector Systems. So now we have a better way to inject.
From when you started to, going, hey, there's got to be a better way, the $4,000 ones aren't going to cut it. So you start tinkering, and as you said, you're kind of a man of ingenuity as well with the cookers and some of the other stuff. So, you got that track record behind you. But how long does it take from, the first version of the Chops Power Injector to the one that we see that's available for sale now? And there are, 3 different types of Chops Power Injectors as well.
Right. We have 3 different ones. The prototypes, there was only let's say a half dozen prototypes. And those were the ones that I used that first year, changing the spacing between the needles, changing the materials, figuring out how I can mass produce it. So I devised it in my head. So I took so long to get parts together and gather it up to make it what it is. I only had to build 2 or 3 prototypes before I settled on kind of what this was going to turn into production-wise. At very first, I found a bottle that I could use off the shelf of the local hardware store that I could clean up and make relatively food safe. For the first 100 or so, that worked, and then I found a company that had a food safe bottle. So I had a food safe bottle that I had to buy a certain amount of, and after that first 6 months or a year, I bought into the company that gives me the food safe bottles and hoses and triggers. Their minimum order was pretty large, but once I got over that initial hump and I got some traction, I was able to buy more and more and make it so we have a food safe product that we can put out also.
Dan Uladal is joining me here on the show, creators of the CHOPS Power Injector System. The website, by the way, is Barbecue Kansas City. That's barbecue with a Q, BARBEQUE, kansascity.com. And you can check out all the different options there. Dan, I guess since we're talking about options, if you want to kind of run down the product line and give us some ideas of price points and what capacities.
Well, the number one seller is the half-gallon CHOPS Power Injector. Standard. It comes with 4 14-gauge 2-inch needles. That works great for your butcher's barbecue injections and your Cosmos powder-style injections. You mix with water or juice. To step up your game and go into adding spices, your medium cracked peppers and stuff like that, you're going to want to upgrade your needle size. So I've come up with 4 different size and shape needles, not shape really, but you have 2-inch 12-gauge needles. It's about double the bore of a 14-gauge needle. And I've got those in 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch. When you're getting into your 4-inch needles, those work great on the full power injector, and those work great for whole hogs. I also have a closed tip needle, which comes stock in your everyday single needle injectors. I found the source to get those, and those are great for all around. Let's inject a lot of stuff without any hassle. I'm talking like if you're doing 4 or 5 pork butts, you can inject, and you're not going to end up plugging up the needles. If you do, you're probably doing something just a little bit awkward to make it do that. I have upgrade parts that comes with plastic needle adapters where you screw your needle to the head. The metal needle adapters really help make it kind of a bulletproof system. So we have the half-gallon number one seller. That retails for around $100 plus shipping. The gallon unit is great for your caterers, for everybody that does quite a bit of injecting. Especially now, we're coming up on Thanksgiving's coming up super fast, and all of us guys that do a lot of barbecue stuff will be cooking turkeys, and you need to inject those turkeys. Keep that moisture up, get that flavor deep in there.
Yep.
So the gallon injector is great for your turkeys. And then the big one, the full power injector system, it's 120 volts. It operates around 60 psi. It uses the same trigger and same head. I put a 6-foot hose on it and a 3 or 4 foot pickup tube, so you can drop the pickup tube into a bucket of injection or a 55-gallon drum of injection, however much you want to use.
Wow. And
you can inject all day long.
But you need power for that one for sure, though.
Right. It's 120 volts, so it's a regular wall outlet. Most places we go nowadays, contest-wise, has some kind of power. If you have a generator or they have provided electricity, so you can work that out pretty good. You can also use an inverter if you needed to, if you're on a low-power area. So that's the rundown of the injectors. They're all pretty awesome. We won 2015 Product of the Year. We strive to have the best customer service that is possible. You can call me, you can email me, you can text me, you can friend me on Facebook, message me. I'll answer your questions. If you've decided to come up with some weird problem, I can usually figure it out and tell you what you need to do to fix it. Like I said, I don't like the way customer service is done today with a lot of companies, and I want to strive to have top-notch customer service and have a great product to back it up.
You know, Dan, the thing that I really like the most about it, and it's efficiency, right? So, what I've found out after using it, probably 10 or 15 times now is with one single needle, I've never run into it breaking or, tipping a bunch of juice over or whatever like you would run into, which is, a travesty in its own right. But for me, it's all about time and efficiency and making the best use of the free time that I have. So when I can inject, 5 times the amount of pork butts or briskets than I could with a single needle, I mean, to me, that is huge. I can put a dollar amount to my time, and I think that there's certain products out there that you hear over and over about how good they are, but you see, whatever the price point is on them, and people get a little apprehensive, and then once they buy it and they use it, and they're like, "Oh, damn it! I wish I would have bought this 6 months ago or a year ago or whatever it was." And I've done it a bunch of times myself. This is one that probably kind of falls into that thing. $100. I mean, it's kind of. It's not huge money, right? But I mean, it's definitely return on investment a billion times over.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. And I hear that every day from people that are. I was apprehensive to buy it. Now that I've got it, I don't know why I did it the other way for so many years.
Absolutely.
I was talking. I was on another show last week on one of the other blog talk stuff. Lori Frezzi. She wanted to talk about my turn-in boxes. I shared a picture of the turn-in boxes from the Royal, and it got on there. And I told her, once you go do a whole hog with the old style, even with the $150 Actic brine pump, that's a nice dirty name. I don't understand why people want to work that hard to inject. That thing's got a 1-foot draw, and you've got a pump, and then you've got to move it. It's a single needle, it's a giant single needle, and you can move a lot of fluid, but it's going to take forever.
Yeah.
I did 4 whole hogs up at the Royal with my full power injector. I did one, and another guy borrowed it and did his. Another guy borrowed it and did his. And then another guy borrowed it and did his. While one of the other teams was still injecting. From the time we started with the first one, they were still injecting theirs by hand.
Yeah.
And they were out there cussing and sweating and hurting and, using probably spit jacks and single needle dollar injectors. And it's just so much work. It's worth the investment. And if you take care of the product, it's going to last forever. With the pump up units, all you got to do is put a little bit of mineral oil in the pump and in the trigger system every once in a while, and it'll last forever. I mean, I had a restaurant here locally that used it every day for 9 months. I went and looked at it, and all I had to replace were the needles. I took the pump apart and looked at the rubbers. These guys used it every single day on 40 to 60 briskets, and all I had to do was replace the needles. I upgraded them to metal needle adapters. They were still using the original plastic needle adapters. You can't. You buy $1,000 TV and throw it away in 2 years. Now this thing is going to last you, for years, as long as you just put a little bit of maintenance forth on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, again, the time that you save by using it is absolutely And if I can, keep it maintenized and I can perform all of the injection stuff without any issue, then anybody can do it because I'm the least handy person out there. So this is something that's easy to use. And again, as I said, don't make the mistake of continuing to teeter on a fence if this is what you've been, especially if you've been listening to me do it, for the read every show, every Tuesday. Get off the fence and get down on it, and get in touch with Dan if you have any questions, of course. And you're going to help everybody out and make sure that they feel comfortable with the purchase that they're going to make. Are there any other products that are sitting out in the biosphere from barbecuekansascity.com, Dan, that you can tell us about?
Oh, nothing currently. I don't know what this winter will bring. I might. One of the guys that wins a lot of contests really wants me to make him a even smaller version where he can check the flow rate. Right now there's no measurable way unless I put another $100 device on it to measure exactly how much goes in for a trigger pull. And that's how specific he is.
Yeah.
He wants to know every time I pull that trigger, is it 5 cc's? Is it a tablespoon? Whatever. How much is going where? So I might start tinkering with trying to get another type out. It's really hard to say. Depends on what I could find to work with. I really wanted to have a quarter gallon, the baby version that maybe has 2 needles on it or something of that sort. So you could do, these guys that do a contest every weekend, man, they're doing 1 brisket, they're doing 2 butts. And that's typically all they're injecting. So they don't need a lot of injection. So they don't want a big tool to take up too much space. I'm all about let's get as much injection in my contest stuff, and I do very well whenever I do go out. So I think the last time we talked, I went to a contest the next week and ended up getting 3rd overall. So, we both have, I was going against him. He, of course, won, but there's different schools of thought on how much to inject and what tools to use to do it. So
Dan Uladol is joining me from Chops Power Injector Systems. Again, the website is barbecuekansascity.com. That's BARBEQUE, barbecuekansascity.com. You can find all the products there and, order them up, man. Don't feel, especially like Dan said, if you're doing something where you're injecting, this is going to help you out a tremendous amount. Dan, anything else before I let you go tonight? And I appreciate the time.
Not that I really know of. I'm going down to, I know you have some good luck with people that are going to compete the next weekend after they talk to you. So I'm going down to Dallas this weekend and competing in the first inaugural Dallas Kosher Barbecue Contest. If that's not a mouthful.
So everything that's cooked has to be kosher.
Everything that you cook with, cook on, and cook has to be kosher.
Are there on-site rabbis to make that happen, or does this all has to be done beforehand?
There are many on-site rabbis.
Yeah, wow.
They come out. The whole cook is supervised by several rabbis, and there's interesting things I didn't know about the first time I started. This will be my 3rd kosher contest, and it's great fun. It'd be great for someone like you because you don't really have to supply anything. You sign the check, and they supply everything. You can bring in, I ordered a new Thermopin, I ordered a new pigtail turner, a new sauce brush because I'm partial to those certain things.
Yeah.
Some wire racks because I know they won't have wire racks to put my chicken on after I duck it. So you'll have certain things you can bring in unused. I typically like to see them in the package so that whenever there's no question. And the same thing with my injector. I'll take a brand new injector down there and use it exclusively for the kosher contest. And typically I'll sell it for a discount to somebody there. They'll be so intrigued by it they'll want one.
Yeah, of course.
That's worked the last 2 kosher contests. But I'll take several with me, and I think there's a store down there that wants to carry chops injectors, so they'll get to save on shipping and all that good stuff. But yeah, everything you cook has to be kosher. There's rabbis walking around. They have to light the fire too, so they have to actually light your pit. For the meat to be kosher, the fire has to be started by a rabbi.
Wow.
Another interesting part of it. But I can make as good quality barbecue that I would turn in for a regular KCBS contest at these contests, because all the ingredients are there. You just got to be able to put them together. So the kosher contests, they're a blast. They really are. If you can find a kosher contest near where you're at, they're a ball. And all the people that are there want to learn how to cook better. So it's great fun. I get to go in there and talk and help teach people, give them tips on what I would do in a regular contest versus what I would do in a kosher contest, things like that. They're really a blast. We have one up in Kansas City here. I'd like to get out to a few more of them. Our Mendel, who runs our kosher one in Kansas City, is kind of like the reigning champion of kosher contests whenever he goes out of town. So I also cook on his team whenever he cooks KCBS. Whenever he finds a Saturday, Sunday contest, he will have me come in and I'll do pork and pork ribs as part of his team. So he can compete fully into a KCBS contest and have somebody that can potentially win those two categories, cook those two categories, and he'll take care of it, and he'll turn in kosher chicken and kosher brisket.
Cool. Well, you have the show Karma, which attaches. You show up on a Tuesday, so I would imagine that you have nothing but great finishes coming your way here this coming weekend. Again, Dan Uladol, Chops Power Injector System, barbecuekansascity.com. Dan, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you, Rick.
You got it. There he is, Dan Uladol, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, this what did I do with it? Did I stop it? Maybe I didn't. This product is great. Don't get off the fence, folks. Get off the fence and get it. You're going to be happy you did. Oh, my God, am I happy. Forget it. All right, folks, let me talk to you quickly about Cook Shack. The American Royals just ended a few weeks ago. Jack Daniels Championship getting ready to start this weekend. Cook Shack will help prepare you for these events next year. Now until October 20th. Folks, that's tonight. All the competition-sanctioned commercial-listed Fast Eddies by Cook Shack pellet smokers are on sale. Also included in this sale are the trailer models, the FE 300, 500, and 750. These units will help you get to the winner's circle. Just mention promo code WIN when you place your order with Cook Shack's courteous professional sales team. You can also order these units online at cookshack.com. The Fast Eddies by Cook Shack pellet smokers are the choice of many competition teams on the circuit. Why do these award-winning pitmasters prefer Cook Shack pellet smokers? Todd Johns of Plowboys considers his FEC 100s a member of his cooking team that handles fire management. He can cook by himself, doesn't have to worry about his temperatures. They're going to be consistent. He can roll into a contest at 6 p.m., prep his meat, be ready to cook quickly. The Fast Eddies by Cook Shack pellet smokers put you in control so you can concentrate on your flavor profiles and making those turn-in boxes. These units feature a digital Cook Shack IQ5 controller to let you set, smoke, cook, rest, and hold temperatures. The heat and the flavor source is 100% food-grade wood pellets. It's a heat that is controlled by a fully automated pellet system, which produces very little ash compared to the stick burners. Act quickly. Take advantage of the 10% off the list price on these award-winning, quality-built units. Use promo code WIN to get the savings. Call them 800-423-0698 or order online at cookshack.com. All right, let's head to the second hour here. Give me 1 second to kind of catch up, and we'll be right back. Stick around.
This is Chad Hayden with Moonshiners Barbecue's 19th Annual Jack Daniels World Barbecue Champion, and this is Barbecue Central.
Big name interviews.
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how you doing?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish! What?
He ate cookies or wieners.
Oh, listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Thanks again to Dan Uladol from Chops Power Injector System and Stephen Reichland for joining me last segment. Still to come on the show tonight, the monthly barbecue roundtable and Daniel Vaughn. Stay tuned for that. Everybody loves that. But before we get into that, you know we're going to do the weekly barbecue roundup. So let's get into that. Oh, yeah. Chuck, play it for me, Chuck. Come on, Chuck. Oh, yeah. Bring me back to another time. Oh, yeah, baby. Folks, this is your weekly barbecue roundup for the weekend of October 16th and 17th. Up first, KCBS, Smoking in the Foothills Barbecue Competition and Festival. Lanier, North Carolina, Wolf's Revenge Barbecue winning with a 709.1. Big Buffalo Crossing Barbecue in Munfordville, Kentucky. Spitfire winning that one with a 687.3. Ohio Smoked Meat Barbecue Festival winning that one. Gray Street Barbecue with a 702.3. Mid-South Barbecue Festival, Mount Pleasant, Tennessee, winning that one. Smoke Me Silly with a 703.9. 10th Annual Lambs Farm Barn Burner Barbecue, Libertyville, Illinois, winning that one. Yellow River Barbecue with a 689 flat. Harper County Bullseye Barbecue in Harper, Kansas, winning that one. Porky Butts Barbecue with a 703.9. Balloons Bike Blues and Barbecue, Parsons, Kansas, winning at Iowa Smoky D's Barbecue with a 691.9. Shenandoah Valley Barbecue Fest, Woodstock, Virginia, winning at 420Q with a 694.8. Grills and Grills, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Kick it in. Little Pig Town winning that one with a 697.1. Oh, yeah. All right, now let's move down south to Texas. International Barbecue Cookers Association. B County, Go Texan, Blazing Saddles, Beeville, Texas. Winning that one, Family Grillers, their first grand championship. Congratulations to them. How about the Comal County Sheriff's Posse Barbecue Roundup in New Braunfels, Texas? 46 teams in there. Winning that one, show favorite, Ernest Cervantes, Burt Bean Company. Yeah. Wild West Cook-Off, Atkins, Texas. Winning that one, 2 Sauce to Pork 2. Hill Country Shootout Barbecue in Leander, Texas. Winning that one, Flirtin' with Fire. Oh, yeah. Benbrook Barbecue, Benbrook, Texas. Winning that one, Chat and Chew. The Oktoberfest, Coachella, California. Winning that one, Hickory and Spice Barbecue. Rosevine, Grave Hill Benefit, Hemp Hill, Texas. Tequila Sunrise Barbecue wins that one. That's 2 grand championships in a row for them. Let's move to the Texas Gulf Coast. Barbecuing for Boobies, Ladies Auxiliary, VFW Post 2427, Tomball, Texas. Joe's Cool Hands Barbecue wins that one. Let's go to the Lone Star Barbecue Society. Early Pioneer Days Cook-Off, Early, Texas. Winning that one, Smokin' Chops Barbecue. And that is your weekly barbecue roundup. Yeah. All right. Thanks to Chuck Mangione, everybody. Top 3 right now. Blake Moody. Several star children were made because of that jam. I'm one of them. I'm a star. Count me. I did it. Who doesn't love a little Chuck Mangione, man? That stuff is smooth like butter. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I mentioned at the top that the Jack Daniels is this weekend. A storied competition, one that everybody wants to win, and this is one of the ones that everybody really hopes to win before they put out the fires for good, and hopes that they get invited to this year or that year, whatever year that they're competing in. Good luck to all of those competing. Good luck to you. But let me point out something that is glaringly wrong with this picture. Someone who lays it down for the barbecue world each and every week in many different ways continues to get left all the judge. I'm sorry. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Continues to get left off the judges list for this event every year. No names, please. I mean, what the hell? What does a guy or gal have to do to get a freaking invite to this thing? I mean, Clint Cantwell gets an invite. That bag can't hardly string together two coherent sentences. Ever. He goes like every year. Who the hell is he? Why does he get to go? And there's others that are even worse than that guy to get to go every year. I mean, come on. It's my time. I mean, it's somebody's time who shall remain nameless. Look, sour grapes for no name is sour grapes, no names, please. I don't. You're damn right it is. Sounds like it. Damn right. It very might well be sour grapes for this no-named person that shall remain nameless. Because rule number one of the show, of course, is no names, please. Of course, that being said, this person, would probably get an invite and then decline because they're like way too busy. But it's the thought that counts, I think. In the end, like anything, it's the thought that counts. Top three right now in the Kansas City Barbecue Society's Team of the Year points race, and it is rapidly coming to a close, and it is freaking close. I think they're all at their 10, and now if they're competing, they're just trying to replace the lowest score to eke ahead. I think the point spread between 1 and 2, number 1, Clark Crew Barbecue, Travis Clark. Number 2, the American Dream Barbecue Team. And then, I hate to say distant third, but come on. Darren Worth, Iowa Smoky D's. We're coming into November here shortly. So there could be, years ago, there was a hotly contested 3-team race that went down to the literal bitter end. And Rod Gray from Pellet Envy ended up taking away, and Darren Worth was involved in that one along with Steve Farron of I Smell Smoke. It was cataclysmic in nature. Great for my show, by the way. Always had interviews with, the three as they were coming down, and, man, that was great. Good times, good times. So, those are your top 3, and we're going to get ready for the monthly barbecue roundtable coming up. Before we get into that, I'm going to talk to you about the longest-running sponsor of the show, located in Warminster, Pennsylvania, the Barbecue Guru. Gang, if you've been thinking about automatic pit temperature control devices, these are the people that started it. Don't go anywhere else. Why would you buy from anybody else? It's patently ridiculous. If you're not familiar with how these little beauties work, I'm not going to get it into the minute detail, but imagine a product that allows you to set your pit temperature at one set, keeps it running at that set temperature all the way through the cook. Sounded good to be true? It's not. It's real life. You can take advantage of this technology today because maybe you're a busy working professional or perhaps you are constantly on the run with the kids, the doing errands, quite frankly, you just don't have that time to sit around and tend the pit temps. Guru allows you to throw on a pork butter brisket, a couple slabs of ribs. You're off to do whatever it is that need to get done. Guru maintains that pit temperature Saturday. Currently a number of different models to choose from. Two of the most popular, CyberQ Wi-Fi, of course. If you have any type of a smart device, you can link it up to that. You can see where your internal temperatures of your meat are, multiples of those. You can actually control 2 different pits if you wanted to, for crying out loud. Other side of the fence is the Party Q. It's $149. Controls 1 cooker. There's no internal meat probes or anything like that. It's the cruise control for multiple pits if you want. You can take it from one to the next to the next. Little extra money on the ceramic-style cookers because of the vent at the bottom and that particular adapter. But it's a self-contained package. Runs on AA batteries. Perfect. If you're in the market for the cooker, look for the Onyx oven. You know it works seamlessly with the Barbecue Guru temperature control devices. Do yourself a flavor. Head on over to thebbqguru.com and check out their products. If you have any questions about what to order, call them directly. 800-288-GURU. 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru continues to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. All right, here we go. We're going to reload. We're going to round up the Barbecue Round Table participants. And we're going to have a slobber knocker of opinions, I hope. All right, stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back, everybody. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. This portion of the show is being brought to you by... How the freak do I get out of this? There we go. Green Mountain Grills, that's right. Manufactures some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. If you're looking for a big cooker to house a ton of food, they got one for you. Medium size, got you covered there too. Something to take on the tailgates, they can do that as well. Also got pellets to fire those cookers. Check them out at greenmountaingrills.com. I love mine. You could love yours as well if you just visit the damn website. All right. As I said before, it's a monthly occurrence with takes that may or may not have anything to do with the world of barbecue and grilling. Joining me now, Bill Minahan, Chad Warner, and Robin Lindars for the monthly Barbecue Roundtable. Hold on one damn second here. I see Bill is looking incredibly sexy, of course. Chad is also online here, but I do not see Robin. Where is she? Where did she go? Hold on one second. Okay, guys, I'm going to hang up real quick. I'll try and get her. If not, we'll dump her, and it'll just be sausage fest here, okay? Hold on. You don't have to laugh at that if you don't want, for crying out loud. Let's see what happens. Call failed. What the hell? Good news and bad news, guys. The good news is it's a sausage fest. Guess what the bad news is? It's a sausage fest. That's all right. All right, so here we are. It's the monthly Barbecue Roundtable, and joining me tonight, as I had mentioned just a few seconds ago, Bill Minahan. Bill, if you could, maybe a little intro on you and what your competition experience is. You're very well Jack Daniel'd up in, I would imagine, for the impending weekend. So the stage is yours, my friend.
Yeah, so we started cooking as a competition team, Q&A Men, we just finished our 4th season. We have competed in 60 contests in that period of time, and we have about, I think, 4 grand champions, 5 reserve champions. Went to the Jack last year. We got the invite last year. First place Cook's Choice right here, so gonna brag a little bit. And, we're all pumped up to get to the Jack this year, but we got a little unlucky and didn't make the draws, and we're sitting home this year. So
you know that shirt that you're wearing is highly illegal.
We wore them all last year right at the Jack, and no one said a word.
Oh,
so
my Lord. I know other teams that have had very similar-looking shirts that have been sent nasty grams by Brown-Forman. Nevertheless, also joining me this evening is Chad Warner. Chad, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. Little background on you and what you're up to.
I have a competition team as well. It's called Yes Dear Barbecue. We've been competing for about 4 years now in South Carolina Barbecue, Florida Barbecue, and KCBS.
Do you have I mean, for a guy that spreads himself across sanctioning bodies, I mean, do you like bits and pieces of each one and that's why you do it, or do you have a favorite one and because of where you're positioned you have to do some others?
Well, I think we prefer KCBS, but where we're at, there isn't a whole lot around us, so we kind of pick and choose what contests are around us.
All right, so let's go back to Bill here. Bill, the effort and idea of this particular segment is that, what if majority of the time we'd like it to do with barbecue and grilling. Mine is not going to have anything to do with barbecue and grilling tonight because I was called out as a man over the weekend, and we're going to address that. But if it has something to do with barbecue or grilling, doesn't always have to be competition related, obviously. But, the floor is yours, Bill. Go ahead and have at it.
Sure thing. So, when we do competition barbecue, as a competitor, there's a big commitment there. And we do anywhere between 14 and 20 competitions a year. So when we go out and cook, we're spending about $800 to $1,200 every time we go. There's a lot of time we put in, prepping, going grocery shopping, ordering the different products, a lot of energy that goes into it. And the board, the Kansas City Barbecue Society board, just recently had a motion brought before them, and it kind of reads, I'll kind of abbreviate a little bit, but it says they wanted to make the change of, it was recommended by one of the reps, or one of the representatives there, one of the board members, but judging will be done by a team of 6 persons at each judging table. KCBS reps will determine the optimum number of tables of judges needed to properly judge the contest. And this is the part where I really liked. In no case will a quantity of 3 tables of judges ever be allowed to judge any type of KCBS sanctioned contest. So what that basically means is, in the New England area, we have a number of contests where there's only one competition in that state. Mainly, one of the big ones is Maine. It's an automatic for the Jack, and it also, with it being an automatic to the Jack, it also, sometimes will draw a bunch of teams. Sometimes it only gets 15 or 16 teams that show up because of how where it's at. And one of the things about this is, if there's 3 tables, what happens is the odds are your food has to go to another table twice. And as we all know, there's good tables, there's mediocre tables, and there's tables of death. And if your food hits that table of death twice, you're done. You're eliminated. I thought this was a great motion to go before the board, and I am shocked, and I'm really disappointed with the board. Because they was failed 4-7, and I thought this would be a no-brainer move to be able to balance out competition barbecue, especially in smaller competitions. We've had all these changes with score. We've talked about being able to seat judges properly at these competitions and make it more fair. There hasn't been a whole lot of movement there. This was a real easy one and a real game changer for small competitions, and the board couldn't even support that. So really disappointed in the board.
So, and again, just to be clear, this is eliminating the potential 3 tables and only making it 2?
Yeah, so if there was a situation where there was 15 teams, they try to put 6 judges per table. So in this case, you could just do 4 tables. So you'd have your food separated out between 4 tables instead of 3. The nice thing about that is, as a judge also, by the time you get the chicken, sometimes you get chicken with chicken thighs and maybe wings or maybe even drumsticks in there. Ribs are pretty much self-explanatory. We serve up 3 different types of pork, money muscle, chopped and pulled, and we're giving you sometimes 2 to 3 different types of brisket served up. So by the time you're done judging, you just even our boxes, you're going to be pretty well full. Imagine doing that 6 times. Even if you're a judge in a contest, you only get 4 turn-ins. Especially here in New England, we're packing boxes to you can't even close them. I mean, you're full when you leave anyway. So I don't see this as a really big deal.
Chad, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts were actually, my rant, I should say, was kind of going to expand on that rant and just be more about the table of death in general and kind of uneven judging in general.
All right, Chad, then hold on one second. If you're going to add on to that, then let me give a look. I'm no competitor, right? I mean, I think we all know that, and I have for exactly the reason that you said, Bill, because it's costing you $800 to $1,200 when I could go ahead and have a huge party here at my house, potentially get so shit-faced I would black out and vomit on the floor. I mean, I could do that at a competition too, but I would rather do it in the sanctity of my own house. So, that's just one of the many reasons why I haven't went into the foray of competition barbecue. But let me play devil's advocate here. A lot of the teams are worried about hitting the table of death, but is it fair then where if you hit the angel tables, so maybe you cook maybe a little bit better than average or not your stellar mark, so if you cook your best barbecue and you hit 2 tables of death, as you said, you're screwed. What if you hit the angel table in average barbecue? Doesn't it even out to a certain degree over time or no?
Go ahead, Chad. You want to take that?
Yeah, well, technically, sure. But the problem is that you do have angel tables and you do have tables of death. And I think the bigger issue is that they have a way to track the judges' scores now. So they should be able to kind of seat the judges according to their average scores or make all of the judges judge to a certain criteria instead of, I took this class 5 years ago, so I'm going to judge this way. I took this class last year in a different state, so I'm going to judge this way. So what happens is, I'm not faulting the judges, I'm faulting the system.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, and I agree with Chad wholeheartedly. The reason why I go out and compete is obviously there's not a whole lot of sports that fat, overweight 45-year-olds can actually throw down and have a competition at. And being able to do that may have to cost me $1,000. We have a great time though too. I mean, it is money spent, but there is a good time that's had there too. But I mean, I just want to be judged fairly, and that's what the real story is. I want my food to go into these judges, and I understand everybody has different tastes, and we're trying to, I think as cooks, we're trying to give you a product that can, if you're not, if you're on a bad table, quote unquote, we still want to be the best on that table. Even if we hit the worst table there, I still want to be number 1 on that table, meaning that my food was graded the best when I hit that table, and it's just really frustrating when some contest organizers just seat people wherever they want, and they may even know that these judges are lower scorers, and it just really screws with the ability to score well, and it feels like a waste of money or a waste of the weekend.
Robin, are you there?
I'm here.
Turn your camera on. Your camera's off.
Oh, I thought I turned it on. I'm a little retarded tonight. I'm sorry.
Oh, did you say retarded? Watch out. You're going to offend somebody. Oh, my goodness. All right. Hey, there she is. Look there's Robin, everybody. All right. You made it.
No more sausage
Thank
fest.
goodness. Yeah, that's right. Finally. Robin feels right to place. 3 men. There you go. Of course, always surrounded by the weird barbecue dudes. No doubt about it, unfortunately. Sorry for your luck, Robin.
No, I love it. My husband says he married a frat boy. I'm kind of like the son my father never had, so I feel right at home.
All right, so we'll get to you here in a second, Robin. Chad, go ahead and expand, I guess, as you were saying on Bill's point with your particular rant tonight.
Well, what happened in my particular instance was a couple weekends ago, we competed in a contest here in Lyons, Georgia, and had a direct impact of the table of death. We had 3 top 10 calls and a 21st call in pork. And looking at the scores, our score at 21st was the second highest score on that particular table. So anybody that hit that table in pork or brisket were out of the contest altogether, which, technically cost me and my team probably $1,000 or $1,500 because we went from being in the money in 5th place to being out of the money at 8th place. So just again balancing the tables out, coming up with a system where you don't have a table of death or a table of angels would be the best way to do it.
Do you have any? I mean, is there any reason that you can think of why? It seems like such an easy solution and something that you could do, the day in advance of, knowing where the judges are and what their track record is like. Why you wouldn't go ahead and make that available for the judge or for the competitors so they feel like they're. I just don't feel like you guys ever have a firm belief that what's happening inside the tent is all fair and square there, whether it's in your hands or not.
I think the challenge is you got to do it on the fly because, a lot of times you'll have judges. I mean, you hear stories from reps that judges sign up for these events, don't call, don't do anything, and then they don't show up to the contest, and then they're out of luck. So even if you have a situation where they actually sign up and they have, a set group of people that they expect to be there, may or may not show up that day. So it's hard on the reps, but they're but every person they have should be on a list, and they should know where they sit, and then they can just go stand in line and okay, you're table 1, you're table 2, you're table 3. Doesn't seem that much more difficult, but it is a little bit more work. And I'm not sure if the reps don't want to do the work or the organizer or the organization, KCBS, doesn't want to mandate it that has to be done.
Robin, do you have any thoughts on judging and tables of death and anything like that? I mean, you're kind of like me. You're not a huge competitor, but you do talk to, some of the top teams out there.
So do you mean table of death, like getting just a bunch of all the really shitty, hard judges at one table and then all the really good ones so that you're just kind of screwed depending on where your box ends up?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'd say there's a lot of luck involved, which I think is really what makes it hard for people.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Somebody, can you guys mute, or maybe Bill, can you mute your speakers for a second?
Sure thing. Hold on.
Robin's feeding back here, and I'm trying to pinpoint where that's come from. All right, try again.
So I think a lot of it is just luck of the draw, unfortunately, which really sucks because kind of like what you were saying, you're spending a ton of money and getting the wrong table can really just hurt you so bad. So I think that's the tough part about barbecue competitions in general is that there's a lot of luck and it can be very subjective, even though it's not supposed to be, So, I've judged some competitions and honestly, I wouldn't say we were the angel table or the death table. It was just that by the time you've eaten so much food at the end, you're not really giving the last box its fair shot just because your brain's like, oh my God, I'm in a food coma right now. So I think that it's hard to be super, what's the word I'm looking for? I think just the contest itself, you're almost kind of getting stuck with the luck of the draw from the get-go anyway. So there's a lot of chance and luck involved with barbecue competitions.
Yeah,
not that I'm not saying that really kick-ass people don't win over and over again, but I think that sometimes you can get screwed just accidentally, just because that's the way it is.
Yeah, and I think that's the point these guys are trying to make tonight for sure. So, guys, anything else before we let Robin say her piece here?
Yeah, no problem. I just want to add to that. When we go to a competition, we size up the field. If there's 35 teams there, you look at who the past champions are that won contests before. People that are on the cusp, somebody like Patrick Paquette, who goes out there from New England, basic barbecue team, just gets a win, recently. He was on my radar all year long, knowing that he was ready to crack a win. But you look at that group and you go, okay, there's 12 teams here that are possible win. And I don't mind being a luck of draw with those 12 teams because it could be any one of those 12 teams any given Sunday. And the odds of it coming from left field is pretty small. So I don't mind that being the luck factor, and that's what we try to cook to. But sometimes, anything the KCBS that they could do to minimize that the judges affecting the day in a negative way would be great.
Yeah, and plus, in the end, we're dealing with human beings, which is the worst part of everything. Human beings are terrible. Look at this guy, Robin. Do you see this guy? He is chugging Jack Daniels. Like, what is that, flavored Jack Daniels or like the special Jack Daniels?
This is Jack Daniels Fire. Delicious.
Fire. What, has it got like cinnamon flavor to it?
Yeah, it's like drinking it's like a cinnamon fireball.
Oh, it's you.
I
All
got
right.
the original too here.
Oh my God!
Nice little sipping bottle
Call
right
the
here.
cops.
You should get them as a sponsor for your team.
Yeah, no kidding.
Really
Bill.
enjoy their brand, you should ask them for some money.
Yeah, but Bill, I
Good
didn't.
luck with that one.
Bill, I didn't want to tell you this, but we're actually all here together tonight because we care about you and we want to, tell you that there's going to be a bus showing up here in about 15 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Robin, go ahead with your rant tonight.
So my rant, Greg, explain this to me. I'm supposed to bring up a topic, and it's like coffee talk, Mike Myers style.
Yeah,
on
right.
Saturday night, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I wanted to see what you guys thought. My thing is, if you had to choose between cooking on lump charcoal or briquettes, it doesn't matter, barbecue, backyard, competition, whatever, what would you choose and why?
Well, okay, you answer first. It's your deal.
My deal is, I've been trying to think of my question, and I don't know why, but I love briquettes. Like, yes, I know the different types of wood, and lump charcoal can add different types of flavor depending on the wood, and there's the whole, regionality and seasonality to it. But I just think that Kingsford briquettes are the bomb because they're always the same size. They're consistent and predictable, and I have no surprises. Sometimes when I use lump, I'll get a big fat chunk of something, and the fire burns unevenly. And I want predictability when I'm cooking a nice piece of meat, and I'm, looking for consistent results. So that's my rant.
All right, Bill, you go ahead first.
So we use both. I enjoy, depending on what I'm doing, using both. We use a high end quality a lump when we're cooking. So when we cook, we use a brand called Frontier. We feel that the quality is always very same, and that's one of the things about competition barbecue is we're always looking for consistent results every time that we can depend on. So having a brand that can deliver that quality all the time is great. Now, the reason why I like briquettes is that if I don't want any flavor, I want to use my own flavor. So I may want to add apple or cherry or hickory or whatever it may be. I can put those lumps in because really Kingsford really doesn't have any flavor to it at all, and I can really specify exactly what I want. Our chicken that we cook, a lot of times we pack that with briquettes because we want really hot, really fast heat, and to get it up to a real high temperature, and because we cook it real hot and fast for our chicken. So, when I'm cooking out in the grill, it really depends on what I'm cooking and what I'm doing, but I like using both. My answer is both.
All right, so if I put a gun to your head and you had to cook with one for the rest of your life, Bill, which one are you going to choose?
Lump.
Lump it is. All right. Chad.
I also use both. Primarily, though, we have a gravity-fed, a Deep South gravity-fed smoker that we use for competitions, and we use lump in that. The main reason is because in my opinion, I think it burns a little cleaner, and it leaves a lot less ash. We used to use Kingsford briquettes, and I have a backwoods that I use at home every once in a while, and I use Kingsford in that. And the amount of ash that a briquette leaves versus the lump is, 3 or 4 times as much. But I also think the lump burns a little cleaner.
All right, so that leaves me, and while I've used both and tested extensively, and in the end, it's all about flavor for me, and so I'm going to go ahead and choose lump as well. Now, what I'm sacrificing with lump, by the way, Robin, let's be honest, are you sponsored by Kingsford? Huh? Are you? You son of a bitch. I knew it. All right. So I will sacrifice consistency, which is what you get with Kingsford. It's the same every time. And when I started in barbecue, I really appreciated the Kingsford briquette because it could get me overnight. I never had to worry about it burning too hot or too cold or whatever. But as Chad said, there was a ridiculous amount of ash, and if you went too far into a cook and you didn't empty it, at some point you might choke yourself out, and I couldn't risk that. Then I got to learn about lump and started playing with that a little bit more, and overnight cooks were very tricky for me with the lump. But again, if it's a gun to the head, I'll sacrifice or I'll take the inconsistencies that the lump is going to give me and trade away the consistency that Kingsford, because I get more flavor with lump, and that's just my 2 cents. All right, so we're running short of time, and here's my take. This past weekend, I'm spending a fall tournament of softball with my oldest daughter. She's 14. She's a athletic phenomenon. And it's the third game on a Saturday night, and it's freaking cold here in Cleveland to the tune of 35 degrees. And this umpire, and it's only one umpire in the field, is all of a sudden making it a habit of making a call before the play has actually physically transpired. For instance, we had a girl coming down who's on our team, going to be scoring, and there's a play at the plate, and his arm is up in the out position before the play even happens. Calls her out, finishes his call. I'm a little perturbed that he is deciding to make calls before the play happens because she could miss her, the ball could drop, whatever. And I voiced my opinion to this guy that maybe he should let the play resolve itself before he makes a determining call. He didn't say anything, but he grabbed his junk. He grabbed himself right there on home plate, and me and like 3 other women saw it. And so I started to get into a small verbal altercation, letting him know that I saw exactly what he did. It was very unprofessional. And he then realized he had been caught and is like, I'm going to throw you out. And I said, hey, I saw what you did, pal. Do whatever makes you feel good. But I saw what you did, and she saw what you did. So I think my rant is this. If you're an umpire in Travel League softball, do not grab your groin area, regardless. I mean, come on. Bill, what are you saying about that?
I would agree. Don't grab your groin area any really time. I mean, I'm a big guy, so I can't really reach my groin area that well. So I wouldn't be reaching that reaching on that very much. Especially in a bunch of girls, in a girls softball group, that probably wouldn't be very professional whatsoever.
Yeah. Chad, your thoughts?
I'd have to agree 100% with you, Greg. I don't think it's appropriate at all that he would do that, especially in front of a bunch of teenage softball players.
Robin, you're a girl. I mean, if you're on a team and you see an ump do this, or you're now a fresh mother as well, if your son was playing and you see maybe you're having a little altercation with the umpire, if he grabs himself, I mean, what are we?
Well, I think that's a totally douchey thing to do. But it's America, and we can do what we want. So even though it's a totally douchey thing to do, I think if he wants to grab his balls, let him. That's his way of saying F you, Greg.
So say that. Have the balls that you're grabbing and say you're a douche or you're wrong or whatever. But I mean, come on. I mean, this is outrageous. America, maybe, Robin. All right, before we go here tonight, and we're running long, I apologize to Daniel Vaughn. Bill, go ahead and any websites or where you're going to be at next?
No, we're going to be under the water scuba diving in the Caribbean for most of the winter. So enjoy this cold weather, especially there in Cleveland. And I'll see you guys on the competition circuit coming up in April.
All right, Chad, go ahead.
We're going to be up in Charleston, South Carolina at Smoke on the Harbor in a couple of weeks, mid-November. You can follow us on Facebook. It's Yes Deer Barbecue or Yes Deer BBQ on Facebook. We post all the time there. So check us out.
All right. And, of course, the Grill Girl, Robin Lindars.
What do you want me to do, Greg? Just plug my blog?
Plug.
Sorry, I'm out of it tonight. You guys just go to grillgirl.com. I'm going to be doing a really kick-ass giveaway for Thanksgiving. Featuring, I know Pit Barrel will be involved. I'll be giving away a Pit Barrel cooker, and I'm going to ask Yeti if they'll throw in a Yeti cooler, and I'm going to ask ThermoWorks to throw in a Thermapen. So it's going to be a really kick-ass giveaway. So everyone tune in and look for that.
All right, Robin Lindars, Chad Warner, and Bill Minahan, appreciate the time tonight. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll do it again. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
There they are. Look at these guys. Outrageous. I'm shocked and appalled that Robin Lindars says if the umpire wants to grab his balls and tell me to go F off, that She said that's all right. That's not all right. I'm not one of those interfering parents, Patrick. I will, however, point out deficiencies in officiating if it's warranted. The Chops Full Power Injector System is the 2015 National Barbecue Association Tool of the Year. You got the half-gallon, the 1 gallon, the Chops Full Power Injector System, electric, the commercial and competition Big Daddy. It's got that big 5.5-foot pickup tube. You know, it was originally made for one of the best barbecue restaurants in Kansas City. And Chef Rob has said that time and time again with the Chops Full Power Injector System, his briskets are better than ever. It comes with metal needle adapters. A number of the top pitmasters out there right now are using the Chops Power Injector Systems every day to make their barbecue better than the rest. And the thing is this, we live in a foodie world and people want flavor in every bite, and this is how you do it and do it fast. It's not just for meat. Bill Minahan might want to inject his watermelon with Jack Daniels. He can do it with the Chops Power Injector System. Order it up, Bill. Every injector is hand-assembled in Kansas City, Missouri. You got all the extra accessories, all that great stuff. So here's what you do. You head on over to barbecuekansascity.com. That's barbecue, BARBEQUE, kansascity.com. And order up a half-gallon or a full gallon or the Chops Full Power Injector System electric model, the commercial and competition Big Daddy. Chops Power Injector System gives your barbecue some power. All right, we are back with Daniel Vaughn. Right after this, stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Thanks again to my monthly barbecue roundtable folks weighing in on a host of different barbecue topics. And, of course, my non-barbecue topic, which, quite frankly, I'm disturbed about. But I'm not disturbed enough to not get my next guest, and I apologize we're late here. It is the editor of Texas Monthly Barbecue there, Daniel Vaughn, joining us here. So, Daniel, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good, man. Appreciate you coming on. I apologize for being a little late here tonight. We were in a heated debate in the barbecue roundtable about me having voiced a small displeasure with a umpire over the weekend, and then he grabbed his package right there on the field instead of telling me to, beat it or shut up or anything like that. So, Daniel, what do you think? I mean, that's the grill girl said, "Hey, it's America. If he wants to grab his balls, then so be it." I'm like, you can do that. You have to maintain some type of decorum. So, probably being the most professional person that I'm having on this hour, Daniel. What are your thoughts on that?
I'd say this is way beyond the barbecue realm for me. But, no, I definitely, no adult should be acting that way on a baseball field.
That's right. All right, Daniel. So you can find your work, tmbbq.com. You are constantly adding to the website over there with interviews and lists and, all of this great content. Do you find it hard since you've, kind of assumed the role of the first barbecue editor out here in the country to continually find new, exciting stuff? I mean, you can, I guess, easily get caught in a process of just, throwing shit up there. But, you want to keep it, fresh and relevant, right?
Well, I want to keep it fresh and relevant. I also want to keep it varied as well. So, I love doing more historical pieces where I'm doing a lot of research, but I also like doing the more current stuff, like where to find the best smoked chicken or where to find the best ribs. Those kind of things always do quite well, as well as just helping people out on their road trips, like doing different guides along the highways of Texas. But I don't really find that it's really not all that hard to come up with new stuff. There's so many stories in Texas that relate to barbecue. I mean, I'm not going to say there aren't some Mondays. I turn in my weekly column. I turn in every Tuesday. And so there are some Mondays where I wake up and I'm like, oh boy, what am I going to write about this week? But I have probably somewhere between, 30 and 40 different Word documents that I've already started little notes on that are stories that might not ever go anywhere, but are little notes about some subject that might be able to expand upon.
Do you have like a certain number of restaurants that you have to review every month, or is that just something that you kind of fit in amongst all the rest of the stuff?
I do one review every week, so there's essentially 52 reviews that come out every year. And finding new barbecue joints, that's the easiest part, actually. It's actually just trying to pare down which ones I actually want to write about.
Do you have to let everybody know in advance that you're going to be going there for a reason of review, or do you not have to do that?
No, I really just show up and order some barbecue and eat it. And I mean, some of them, some people know who I am, some people don't care. It really just kind of runs the gamut.
All right, so one of the things that is on the tmbbq.com website is the Texas Monthly's 25 best new barbecue joints list, and it's been out for about a week now. So, this isn't to be confused, or is this separate from like the best barbecue joints in Texas, or is this a revised best barbecue joints of Texas?
Well, so what this is we put out a big top 50 barbecue joints in Texas list, and we really don't do that all that often. It has been every 5 years in the past. We're switching that over to every 4 years now. The last one came out in 2013, so the next one's not going to come out until 2017. But it seemed unfair to wait 4 years to shed some light on some great places that have opened up in the meantime, or ones that we just hadn't really found when we did that 2013 list. So this best new and improved barbecue list is really just a way to shed some light on some places that are doing great work, great barbecue that you might not have heard of. Some of them are well-known names already, like Killen's Barbecue down in Pearland, just south of Houston, and others are ones that not a whole lot of folks have heard about, like Kolochny Barbecue in Hallettsville, Texas. So this was a way to give them some attention, and also it's not a preview for what the next top 50 is going to be, but certainly these are all going to be some solid contenders for the next list.
So out of those top 25 that you have on this new list, do you have a number one of those best 25? If I gave you a blank check and a private jet, where's the place you're going to go to?
Well, we invite a newcomer to the barbecue festival. So Texas Monthly, we have a barbecue festival. We invite all of the top 50. Usually about half of them are able to steal away from their restaurants and come visit. We're actually going to have the next festival is on November 1st. And so for that festival, in 2013, we had a whole new crop of folks to invite. But every year we invite a newcomer, which is a place that has really shown itself to be in the upper echelon of Texas barbecue joints. So last year we invited Killen's Barbecue from Pearland, and this year we're inviting Friedman's in Austin. So really that signifies that we really love these places, and that unless they do something to screw up, there's a good chance they're going to make the next top 50. So those would be two of my best picks from the list. But one that kind of came out of nowhere is the Bodacious Barbecue. It's out in East Texas in Longview. So Bodacious Barbecue is a chain. They have several locations across Texas, and they vary widely from location to location. They're all independently owned and operated. And the original one, Roland Lindsay, who opened that one in the 60s, the original one had closed down due to his health. And he he actually enlisted his son-in-law to come in, Jordan Jackson, and take the place over and kind of revamp the menu and start doing things Jordan's way. Jordan had worked at Stanley's Barbecue in Tyler, another one of my favorites. And so he came into the Bodacious, this old, kind of tired Bodacious chain, and has really just completely turned around the quality of barbecue they're putting out in their original location in Longview. So that was an exciting thing to see, and one that is really unexpected. I've gotten some people who are questioning the entire list because, oh my God, you included a Bodacious. It's like, well, have you been to this one? If not, shut up.
Daniel Vaughn joining me here on the show, editor for barbecue when it comes to Texas Monthly. TMBBQ.com is the website if you want to check him out and see what he's up to. One of the things that we talked a little bit about here in the first hour of the show, Daniel, is the Jack Daniels. That's going to be happening this coming weekend. Always storied, always mystical, and people that aren't included feel pissed that they were left off the list, and people that got in are like, "This is the best thing ever." Have you been to the Jack before?
I have been to the Jack. I went last year, and I went as a judge. This year, I'm just going on my own. I'm really just going there to hang out with folks. Being a judge there is, I don't know. Eating a lot of nameless, faceless barbecue out of styrofoam containers. It just that versus being able to, just hang around with pitmasters and actually watch how they're cooking and learn a little something. That seems like it's going to be a little bit more rewarding than sitting at a judge's table. And it is a unique one. I mean, the Royal is certainly in awe when you go to the Royal just for its hugeness. And the Jack is just really the absolute opposite. It's just a few teams. It's it's down there in the holler. It's way away from anything resembling the city. It just is a completely different feel to any other of the big competitions out there.
Let me show my city slickeredness and say, what the hell is a holler? It's down in the holler. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
I guess that's the place where the fog settles, I guess.
Like it's a low-lying area?
It is a low-lying area, yeah. The Jack is actually, you go down a little hill to get down to where all the cookers are set up, and then just beyond that, there's a, let's call it a creek. There's a waterway right behind all that. So, yeah, it certainly has a woodsy feel to it.
Will you be doing any type of journalistic stuff there, like writing and trying to catch some stories and reactions and stuff like that, or is it really just for the hang?
I am always out there looking for stories. Yeah. So, I mean, there's never a time that I'm out eating barbecue. People are like, well, is this trip just for fun or for work? Well, I mean, they're all for work. They're all potential columns, potential assignments. So I always look at it that way. And, you go to a place like the Jack and you spend a couple of days there, you're certainly going to find a story. And then I've actually just spent a good part of the morning today planning all of my stops in Nashville on the way down. So I'm actually I'm flying into Nashville. I'm going to eat as much barbecue as I can pile in before I drive on down to Lynchburg.
The other thing, and you mentioned it, happening the very first part of the month is the barbecue festival. So for the folks that have never attended, like what's the theme there? What can people expect if they go there?
Oh, you can expect all of the barbecue you could possibly eat. So, I mean, the great thing about this festival is you pay one ticket price, you get in the door, and then everything is free after that as far as the food goes. You get a few drinks as well, a T-shirt to go along with it all. But you walk in, there's 26 this year of the best barbecue restaurants in all of Texas set up. Just passing out food for several hours, and all you got to do is walk up to their table, grab it, and grab another if you want, or grab a third one if you really liked it. Wow. And just keep going and try and make your way around to every table before time's up.
It's on a time limit?
Well, I mean, it's there's no real time limit. It's just it runs from noon to 4 p.m. So,
oh wow,
Yeah, I mean, it's it's more of an eating sprint than a marathon.
It's a competition eating scenario to a certain degree. Instead of 10 minutes, though, you get at least 4 hours to pack it all down, which could play to your advantage or disadvantage, I guess.
Well, the other great thing about it is, if you're coming to Texas, especially coming to Texas for the first time to experience barbecue, it's essentially like a week-long road trip all packed into just one afternoon. So instead of you having to drive around to check out all these places all over the state, they're all in one spot in Austin. So works out nicely.
I'm sure there'll be a ticket and will call for this guy, right?
Hey, you come on. You let me know if you're going to come on down.
Oh, man, bet. I would love to, but I'll be involved in some type of a sporting event, I'm sure. So, but maybe we can work the logistics out a year from now. It'll still be going next year, right?
It'll be going on and on and on year after year.
Bigger and better. All right. Then maybe we can look at that next year for sure. Daniel Vaughn is the Texas Monthly Barbecue editor. You can find him at tmbbq.com. Daniel, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on.
It was great. Thank you.
There he is. DV. Bringing it strong for everybody there. So always enjoy catching up with Daniel. I am going to run over time here. So, Kevin, I apologize, but only by a couple minutes. So just relax. Let me get this last read in, and then we'll close up shop. All the way to this guy. Right now, we are going to be talking about Butcher Barbecue. Holy moly. What is Dave Bouska up to? Well, the better question is, what isn't he up to? He's providing injection. The pork, the beef, the prime injection, the bird boosters, the open pit style for your pork. It's wonderful. You get it at butcherbbq.com. What else is he doing? He's providing you with rubs like steak and brisket rub and honey rub, which is one of my favorites, of course. He's also up to making great sauce for you. The sweet barbecue sauce from Butcher's is some of the best stuff out there right now. No liquid smoke, which I appreciate and adore. Tastes great. A lot of great flavor profiles in there. Dave uses it and wins with it on the competition circuit. I use it and win with it in my house. The girls love it. I mean, I got a house full of girls, and if they're enjoying a barbecue sauce, that says a lot. Because women, when it comes to barbecue sauce and like grilling and stuff, come on, they're women. Don't worry about breaking the bank when it comes to shipping either. Items totaling up to $55 ship at $8.50. Between $55 and $200 ship at $9.75. Anything over $200 ships for free. Also, if you've bought a commercial injection from somebody else and it sucks, you've had to throw it away in the past. Now you don't have to. You can go to butcherbbq.com, go to the trade-in link, do the paperwork there, send your injection to Dave. He'll weigh it, and in return, he'll send you back something that you would like instead. He's making his customers happy. He's making his competition's customers happy. That's what I want to say. And you can do it all at butcherbbq.com. That's butcherbbq.com. Butcher's Barbecue. Always trust your butcher. All right, let's wrap it up. Stick around. We'll be back in the jiffy.
Hello, everybody. This is Gary Nerd Chuck, host of Wine Library TV, a.k.a. WLTV, and this is BBQ Central.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com is the way to get in touch with me. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Stephen Master, author, cooking class instructor, third Tuesday of the month guest here on this show, by the way, in case you don't remember that. Appreciate him. Thanks for coming on. Then we had Dan Uladol from Chops Power Injector. BarbecueKansasCity.com. Get a Chops Power Injector system. Don't teeter on the fence anymore, folks. Get off the fence and be happy. Get your life back, get time back. Your time's worth money, man. It pays for itself. Put $1 to it. Then we had the Barbecue Roundtable. Bill Minahan. We had Chad Warner. We had Robin Lindars. That was wild. If you missed it, go back and get the podcast here in about 30 minutes. It'll be online. Video will be up tomorrow as well on the YouTubes immediately following the show here, about 30 minutes or so after it gets done processing automatically. And then we close the show with Daniel Vaughn, the Texas Monthly Barbecue editor, tmbbq.com. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.